Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies. We are inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh, thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. Print management, document management, get everything you need to the cloud. We will be riding the cloud down to Fayetteville on December 4th. We will be doing our show from Copiers Plus, from the home base, from the HQ.
Looking forward to it.
That'll be a lot of fun. Brooke Pryor, ESPN, covers the Steelers in the NFL. She's going to join us in a little bit, although something tells me it's going to pivot into Tar Heel therapy with Brooke.
That's okay.
I feel like when we bring Brooke on, she's so locked into NFL stuff and her ESPN hits, she doesn't really have a safe space to talk about the Tar Heels, and we are that safe space for her.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that will be the case when we talk to Brooke. I know she probably wants to talk about basketball, but we're not going to let her talk about basketball. Speaking of hoops, interesting night in the ACC last night. We got Duke and North Carolina in action. There's some college football playoff committee rankings mixed in there, which we'll get to, because as I predicted, the Miami-Notre Dame conversation began in earnest last night. But again, we'll get to that in a second. You want to start with UNC or you want to start with Duke from last night?
Let's start with the Blue Devils.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We've kind of hit overreaction mode for both these teams in terms of like what's wrong or what are the red flags, yellow flags. Yeah, very similar to what we did with NC State after the VCU game. Duke's issues to me have been known. A lot of it has to do with the front court. Also, Kansas playing a level of defense that they had not necessarily seen yet. You expect that out of Bill Self. I know that Peterson wasn't in the lineup, so that's going to affect how the game goes. But yeah, it was as you would say, a grinded out win for the Blue Devils last night. And under Shire, I've noticed a tendency for them to have these early season games, figuring things out and finding themselves in some situations where they have to grind it out. I've not doubted that with a John Shire coach team since he's been here, with the exception of one team and one team only. And that was the 24 Filipowski Part 2 season, where they never really hunkered down and showed you that toughness, which was weird because year one Filipowski down the stretch showed you what he could be. Year two, not so much. And of course, the rest is history. And I kind of get that. I kind of get that sense out of this team too, especially with Cam Boozer at the front. But yeah, it was a grinded out game. Cam Boozer still found a way to get his boards, still get like 18 and 10, I think, on the night. And they got enough out of Isaiah Evans to kind of pull away right before the half, which was also, that three was pretty impressive. And that's your ball game.
Yeah, it's funny enough. We can talk about Duke the same way we talk about NC State.
Mm-hmm.
In that, who's going to help the star? We know who the star is. Cam Boozer is the star, but who are going to be the supporting characters that will elevate Duke from just a team with a singular star who can make the tournament to one that could potentially make a run at the Final Four? From what I've seen from Duke now, the Tennessee game, and now I watched some of the Army game. I watched some of the Texas game, but I watched the first half of this game.
Yeah.
Gungba, every time I watch him, looks good.
Yes.
So I don't get it when people text me like, oh man, Duke can't rebound. Oh man, Duke's got nothing in the middle. I'm like, are we watching the same? Are we watching? But I get it. He hasn't been consistent.
It's not a consistent thing.
The second part of that to me is Slim Evans.
Mm-hmm.
When he's shooting and he's going and you are a true supporting secondary, the Scottie Pippen to the Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're cooking.
Yeah.
You're cooking. The third guy I kind of look at, and we take for granted in the sense that Caleb Foster was all but off of this basketball team last year.
Right.
John did a tremendous job in carving out some minutes for him at the end of last year to keep him in the fold.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was a productive supporting player in a limited role at the end of last year. We assumed he, as a junior, he would be this Quinn Cook. He would be whatever he could be.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen that. Now we're 5 games into the season, and he really hasn't had a carved out, starter minutes type role. He's been given chance to do that before. So I'm curious to see how he evolves in that role. I thought he hit a corner three relatively early in the first half of this game that I was like, okay, the more people who help Boozer, the better off they're going to be in the long run. But, Hamina, still don't see it. My guy, Dame Sarr, Still kind of waiting for it. Not sure about the other Boozer brother, although obviously he had 7 points last night.
So it's interesting you bring up. I'm glad you brought up Foster because Shire talked about this last night in the post game, where they're still figuring things out like everybody else.
Yeah, it's 5 games. I get that.
It's 5 games in. You're still trying to figure out who you're going to be, and also put a pin in that because I have a larger thought about how Duke and John Shire has constructed this schedule this year and what they're trying to do, which I think is very, very excellent. You can tell that they are tinkering with Foster and Boozer at the point.
Yes.
And to see if it's going to be a by committee type thing, if one can overtake the other, if Caden is pushing Caleb to be that guy, vice versa, all that kind of stuff. So I do think that's as much as you were correctly pointing out with Gungba and the front court, there's some consistency issues here. I think for me, the real issue for Duke going forward is who's going to run point consistently. But again, that's where you have all this time to figure it out.
Cam Boozer's their best passer.
Yeah, but
the way they run their 5-out stuff, I mean,
you can also tell that they're once again doing the thing of everything is, there's no question who the bus driver is, as you like to say, when it comes to Duke and what they're setting things up to do.
Not a doubt.
You know, we saw this last year multiple times with Cooper Flagg. I know we talked about this with Brendan Marks a couple of weeks ago. When it came to crunch time and Cooper Flagg needed to get that bucket, he was slipping or it didn't go in or whatever it is. So you're seeing this develop. You're seeing, by the way, real quick tangent on Cooper Flagg. What I said about Cooper Flagg last year is finally coming home to roost in the NBA, and I'm not talking about his actual game and his production. He's just a boring watch. He doesn't make you feel some type of way. And that started in some of the NBA stuff that I follow, some of the newsletters I subscribe to. There's been some discussion around Cooper Flagg, and it's just like, this isn't fun. I go, right. It wasn't fun last year either. There's really nothing to it. Cam Boozer, on the other hand, he's a hell of a lot of fun to watch. So it's a completely different dynamic there. But the thing about Duke, unlike everybody else and the schedule that you see, here's who they have coming up left in November and December for their non-conference slate, which is pretty damn impressive. You got Arkansas on the 27th, Florida on December 2nd, Michigan State on the 6th, Texas Tech on the 20th. And then you start getting quickly into league play. You get your first true, real ACC test, not against Georgia Tech on New Year's Eve, but against Louisville on Tuesday, January 6th. So all these games with Texas and Kansas last night and Florida and Texas Tech coming up, they are absolutely testing themselves with a great schedule, and they will be ready to go once we get an ACC play. And despite the fact that there's some concerns about Duke going forward, metrics-wise, they continue to top the list everywhere, whether you're looking at Ken Pom or any other places, Bart Torvik, Evan Mai, you name it, they are tops right now. So with Duke and the way they're testing themselves, I think it bodes well once we get into the ACC regular season, and they'll probably win the league again. That's my prediction based on 5 games so far. Meanwhile, in Chapel Hill, we had a players-only meeting.
Yeah, I'm confused by this.
They didn't like the way they played against Navy last night.
Okay.
They went through some the second half with a fucking slog.
Okay.
A straight slog. I think both teams went 5 minutes apiece without scoring. Navy went on a bit of a run to make that game a little bit closer than people wanted them to make it. Of course, Caleb Wilson continues to be that spark plug with the dunks. He had another double-double last night. I mean, that's his own expectation, right? It's like, I'm going to give you 20 and 10 every night. Well, he basically did that last night too against Navy. And I mean, my interpretation of all the reporting that's come out from the players-only meeting after the fact, something that Hubert Davis was happy to see. He's like, I didn't have to say anything. The players are the ones who are having their own expectation. And this is why I don't think it's that big of a deal. It actually bolsters what I've been saying about this team and Caleb Wilson. These guys understand the assignment, and they have their own new expectation that they're trying to pull off at UNC. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, Wilson's a revelation.
Yes.
And you're just not going to get a player like that every year with a personality like that every year, a driving force like that every year. I know we won't see Tremble until at least Christmas.
Yeah.
But so I'm kind of inclined. I have a higher opinion of Seth Tremble than I think a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. I thought at the second half of last year, he was really their best player. And he goes to the basket in such a way that it's obviously probably how he got hurt in practice as well, that it's just a different element in how we're seeing college basketball evolve. Had someone in the comments yesterday, like, congratulations, you're a real journalist. You figured out that NC State uses analytics. Fair, fair. But I don't think people realize the inertia in college basketball that has taken to push into that analytical era. Yes, the NBA has been playing like this for quite some time. And even Duke, with the way that they actually play, the 5-out style that they play, there's a lot of NBA elements to it. But I think Carolina in particular, this year, you've seen them kind of remold their roster. You've seen them embrace analytics. You've seen them use a different path. Kind of ultimately, though, to me, gets down to, everyone's going to have to make a bunch of threes. I understand that. But at some point, who do you trust to get the ball and score a basket? Right? Like the old NCAA tournament math was Sean May. You know what? I feel pretty good. If we're on the other team's on an 8-0 run, we punch it into the big man, we're going to get a hoop. Same with Hansbrough. You know what I mean? Like there was a comfort to that. And I think college basketball, as we're seeing, note Florida, even though UConn had some great size to them, they were still driven by their guards. You're starting to see this change in college basketball, and it's interesting, particularly here in the heart of college basketball, to see the change. And to realize, yes, we've seen those old coaches retired and replaced now, but now it's a completely different way that the game's being played. It's fascinating to watch.
All right, let's go to the OG sports phone.
919-444-2211. Call the OG sports phone and curse or don't.
I think this comes to us from an 832. Honestly, it's better to play an unhinged call than to make the point myself.
Okay.
Going back to Duke beating Kansas.
Okay.
Carolina beat Kansas.
Oh.
I said this after Carolina beat Kansas.
Reckoning. Okay, let's do it.
It's an 832.
All right, boys. The pressure's on for State on December the 13th to complete the sweep of the Research Triangle, beating Kansas. I don't know what happened. I think, didn't Kansas actually beat all three teams last season? So this is just revenge. Complete revenge. A complete sweep. It's all to December the 13th for State. Will we do what we normally do and absolutely suck and let everyone down and be the joke of society in the state of North Carolina? Or will we actually fucking succeed with fucking Will motherfucking Wade? Let's go. Also, at the same time, I would like Carolina fans to stop complaining about State beating a pretty good VCU team while you barely beat a Patriot League team that, by the way, is limited to 6'8" at their highest height. All right, adios.
I love that call. I think it encapsulates where we are with a revitalization of triangle hoops.
Yes, the Jayhawks did sweep the triangle last year, and now they have lost to North Carolina on the road, Duke at Madison Square Garden, and then they will play here in Raleigh on the 13th. So,
is one other note about Carolina, because I'm going to be an asshole about this for a good chunk of the year, because I think you and I both like the roster construction of Hubert Davis.
I do, yeah.
This upcoming season, or in the season that we're in right now. And maybe people got all worked up about, well, I don't know about spending $14 million on this roster. I mean, they overspent for this roster, blah, 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 blah. Did you watch Kentucky last night?
And now you're in the 20s now, just so you know.
That's a $20+ million roster. They got absolutely undressed last
20s.
night in the Champions Classic.
You're in the 20s.
Mark Pope's back on that. The honeymoon's over.
Well, try to tell you, Joe.
What have you said, Joe?
College basketball is a year proposition. But that's big Mike Norvell energy out of Pope last night in that post-game press conference. Like, he's just exacerbated. He's just like, and here's the truth. All of the things that he did last year worked, right? To a certain extent.
That team.
With that group and that money and that, that budget. So he tried to do all of those same things again. In college football, in college basketball now, you can do all the same things. And one variable here, one personality there, it changes. And you can sit here and go, I don't get it. Why did it work in year A, but not year B? And I would just say to you, because college basketball is a year-to-year proposition.
All right, from basketball to football. Every time we talk about ACC football, it's brought to you by our friends at Bloomin' Blinds. Check them out online at bloominblinds.com. 10 or more window treatments, you're going to get 10% off. They will be bringing you the After Dark this upcoming Saturday after the Duke, North Carolina game. Just got this email from the ACC. Disney Advertising and ACC announced Serve Pro as a new official conference sponsor. Here is how the press release starts. Serve Pro is the newest official sponsor of the ACC as part of a new agreement with the conference and Disney Advertising. Serve Pro will be, wait for it, the official cleanup and restoration sponsor of the ACC and the ACC network. This is a real press release. This is a real sponsorship deal. That is an official tagline from the ACC in their official release. The official cleanup and restoration sponsor of the ACC and ACC network. I cannot think of a more appropriate sponsor, corporate champion for the ACC, given what we are seeing unfold in the college football playoff. There's a cleanup necessary. There is a restoration necessary. Now, some of that restoration is happening in Blacksburg with the James Franklin hire. Buddy, when Brett Yormark's out here puffing his chest about all these Big 12 teams that are showing up ranked in the College Football Playoff Committee rankings, and the ACC still sweating it out with Miami, yeah, man, you might need to clean up when it's all said and done.
All right, so last week we lauded the committee for putting Miami where they are, but now I'm concerned that they're just using Miami as a placeholder for the ACC champion. Miami is not going to win the ACC championship.
I know.
Because Miami's not going to be in the ACC championship.
Yeah. No, what's happening, and a little bit of this
so
came
I'm
out.
super confused.
So here's what's going on.
I was encouraged last week.
Yeah.
This week, I'm looking at it going, now hold on a second.
Hold up.
Either you people have a kink for shaming ACC teams in Florida.
They do.
Which you might.
They do.
Or you're going to be answering, because I got to tell you, Miami doesn't have a lot of fans. They got a lot of fucking fans on Twitter. That I know.
So Nicole Auerbach posted this on Blue Sky regarding from the college football. I can't even keep up with who the college football playoff committee is.
Either.
I think they're on number 3 this season.
That poor bastard they put on TV last night. He looked like he was like,
right.
Oh,
this is not a competent group. Not a competent group, unfortunately.
Maybe it's the Arkansas AD.
I think it is the Arkansas AD.
And if you were
Hunter Yurachek.
If you were the Arkansas AD, you'd look like a poor bastard.
That's true too.
Just sweating.
So Yurachek says, quote, from Nicole, that Notre Dame and Miami have not been compared to each other because they are not close enough to each other in the rankings. Mentions Miami has 2 losses to unranked teams and Notre Dame has 2 losses to teams in the committee's top 13. So before we get into the mental gymnastics about what they just said, I bring this up because it's proving true what I said last week. They are, remember, when it comes to these rankings, they are simply setting things up for their final decision. And they have been setting it up for Miami and Notre Dame to have it come down to head, because that's when they'll finally look at it. If they're one space apart, if they're that close, then they'll get to the head-to-head, and that's where Miami should have the edge over Notre Dame. But see, the loophole is, you see, if you listen to the words, they don't have to get them near each other. They can keep them a couple of spaces apart so that they never actually have to compare it. See what I'm getting at?
Yes.
Now
he did say this in his interview with Reese Davis.
Yes.
He said they're not on the same tier. But then once they're on the same tier, then there would be this head-to-head comparison.
What's going to change that puts them on the same tier is my point. Now, here's where we get into the mental gymnastics. So we're focused on the losses.
And he said that specifically, the reason that Notre Dame right now is 9 and Miami was actually 13 in their rankings is that Notre Dame's losses are better than Miami's losses to unranked teams.
Can you remind me who Notre Dame lost to?
So Notre Dame lost to Texas A&M, who's number 3.
Hey, that's a good loss.
By a point at home.
That's a good loss.
They also lost at Miami.
Wait a minute.
So Notre Dame now is going to be rewarded
for losing to
Miami being good, while Miami's not going to be rewarded.
How's Miami good?
Because
they have these 2 losses, Joe. How are they good? I don't understand. They have these 2 unranked losses. Look, losing to Louisville and SMU are not bad losses, in my opinion.
No,
they're not
SMU's
bad.
in overtime. SMU's not a bad football team. Louisville's
They're fine.
Perfectly acceptable.
Perfectly acceptable team that if we put SEC instead of ACC, we're talking about the meat grinder. That, oh man, you got to go through teams like Louisville. How is that possible? So the mental gymnastics are fucking hilarious to me when it comes to Miami and Notre Dame, and they work backwards from their decision. So I bring all this up just to once again prove that point and just watch them go through this process to set up the drama for the final ranking that produces the college football playoff bracket.
Yeah, you were a day early on they're going to put team ... into the field for television reasons. That's Notre Dame. That's the droid you're looking for.
That's always the default when we come to the team gets in for television purposes. Because Notre Dame's always the default on that one.
You asked me a question, who has Notre Dame played?
That was my next thing.
And I said to you, sir, it's not who have they played, it's who have they beaten.
And that's where I was going to wrap this portion of the conversation. Say what you want about Miami's losses. I can tell you their wins, including one over Notre Dame. Miami actually has good wins. Please show me where Notre Dame has a quality win. Show me. Pitt?
I wonder which one of these ACC wins count as Notre Dame's quote unquote quality win.
I mean, NC State screwed it up for them.
I was going to say they beat State like a drum.
Yeah, but then Miami just took care of business against State, so
they did murder ball Arkansas, who's terrible, but they murder balled them.
Yeah,
they beat USC. USC would count as their best win. Oh, Navy. Remember, Navy is whatever in the American right now, first place.
True. Okay,
so they're getting credit for beating Navy.
Okay,
they're getting credit for beating. I would think they're getting credit for beating Pitt.
They were ranked at the time, so
they closed with Syracuse and Stanford,
which is garbage.
There's no help there. They also played Boston College, so they played the 3 last place teams in the ACC.
Yeah,
all 3 of them.
Yeah,
their best opponent in the ACC was Miami, who they
lost to.
Okay, got it.
Just putting that out there. I don't think Miami. I know what you're saying, that it looks like, based on what the committee is saying, that Miami might be left out. I don't think that's the case. I think they're simply setting it up.
There's a lot left. There's a lot of hockey left.
There is a lot of football left. 2 weekends left of the season. You also have the conference championship games, which, as they said last night, is another data point. One other football note. You and I were talking about this. We did not talk about this in the podcast yesterday. You were kind of trying to track this down, I believe, as it relates to NC State's future opponents, future schedule. So this is from Pack Pride. Good old R. Corey Smith, Dateline, Raleigh, our guy. NC State and Virginia set to face off in the first ever game in Brazil for the 2026 season. Multiple sources have confirmed to 24/7 Sports. The Wolfpack and the Cavaliers were initially scheduled to play a non-conference game next fall in Charlottesville as part of that home-and-home deal, but now they're expected to play the weekend prior to Labor Day in an international game. This would not only be the first game played in Brazil, but the first international game for both NC State and Virginia in program history. It would mark the first ACC game played overseas since Georgia Tech beat Florida State 24-21 in Dublin last season.
So what does the OG travel budget look like? We got Carolina next year in Ireland.
Yeah.
And the Wolfpack in Brazil.
All right, I have we haven't hit the draft.
I don't even think your dad's got that for us, right?
I think he does. He can get us to Brazil.
Yeah,
he can get us to Brazil. I'm pretty sure, because he's gonna have to make the trip.
Does Hernando speak at the Porche?
No. I was gonna say Portuguese, Spanish. Like I can pick up on some things here and there, but no.
You want me to tell you my great Portuguese story?
Save it.
Okay.
Save it for the mailbag.
Okay.
Save it for the mailbag.
I got a great Portuguese story.
That's worth your $5. I want $5 for that.
Good tease.
Yeah, that's a good tease. Go be a YouTube membership channel member. I have a couple of questions. Clearly, you're doing this because of the money.
Yes, absolutely.
You're doing this because of the money.
Yeah.
Fine. Was this the right time to drop this news?
Well, they were floating it to the Wolfpack Club, which is how it got out.
Okay.
Because they're trying to gauge interest, like how many people would actually make this run and go to Brazil.
Okay. Now you're getting to my central question. As they're floating this to people, who's spending all that money to go to Brazil to watch strip out the NC State Virginia aspect of this. Like that's an odd matchup to send to Brazil.
I love unleashing this on the Brazilians. ACC chaos.
I mean, if you really want to give the Brazilians a true taste of what ACC football is about, I can't think of anything better other than maybe Wake Forest versus Boston College. So they have to gauge this you got to gauge this to the Wolfpack Club to see who's going to make this trip. Very similar to Maui, right? Like how many people are going to go out to Maui? Who's dropping all that money to go international to watch Dave Doran in Brazil?
Here's the loophole. Dave's never lost to Virginia. So maybe that was the hook. You know, there's only one team. That was only one ACC team he's never lost to.
Has Dave never lost to the Brazilian Steakhouse either? Like they lose money when they see Dave Dorn at the Brazilian Steakhouse. They know they're losing money that day.
Obviously it's a financial boon.
Meat on a sword? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Obviously it's a financial boon. I would guess for both Virginia and NC State.
Yeah,
the ACC is going to get a cut. You get yourself a week 0 game. By the way,
yes,
which in your new metrics, I don't care who it is. You at least got a chance.
Sports Podcast Festival in Brazil.
Oh my God.
Because we always do it week 0.
I think Brazil's an hour ahead of us, right? I think if my math's right.
You think Dimitri can secure some sponsorships for that one?
So you can somehow stack the doubleheader of Ireland, Brazil on week 0 next year.
Yeah.
If you're the ACC, ratings wise and all these other things.
Sure.
The losers here, of course, are, and I think it's great for the players. I do.
Oh,
I think that's assuming everything works out well. I think this is cool, really cool for the players. But the fans are the losers on this one. Yes.
I mean, this is the same. We're not that far removed from big Chick-fil-A kickoff classics that NC State had struggled to sell tickets for because, I got to get out to the beach that last weekend before Labor Day.
Excuse though. So you just take the money. It's not your home game. That's the other thing. It's Virginia's home game that's being moved. So that's a win for you.
All right.
And by the way, I know people were worried about this since they're going to a 9-game schedule next year. It won't be a non-conference game. So you won't have to explain to little Paolo in San Paulo that, hey, these two teams they're in the same league. Oh, so it counts in the standings. Well, no, it doesn't. Oh, okay. It's a friendly then. They're playing a friendly.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Well, no, now it's just a full-on blood rivalry between Virginia and NC State in Brazil.
Housekeeping brought to you by our friends at Inovana. Check them out online at inovana.com. Get your Thanksgiving prep done with Inovana or post-Thanksgiving cleanup with our friends at Inovana.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Inovana.
We've got
that's where we mess up.
Where we mess
We
up.
don't call it the official cleanup and restoration of the OG.
You're right.
We just call them our corporate champions. We got to work on our verbiage.
So we unboxed the Rode wireless stuff for Saturday's Christmas parade event that we're going to be at State of Beer.
It's not skinny or long enough for me, but
you like a little more girth?
No, I want it. I want full like 70s, the match game, and what's his name? Bob Barker had that like
Wink Martindale or whatever his name was.
Gene Eubanks, Gene Rayburn.
Joe, it's not the length or the girth of the mic. It's what you do with it.
Okay,
and we'll see what Hayes does with it. Although you're going to be using this for the State Carolina game.
I will be out there.
Okay, well, we're going to have to test this thing out.
Yeah, Gene Rayburn. My apologies.
Gene Rayburn. Yes.
I
also thought that the receiver, the wireless Go receiver, was magnetized. I could attach it to the back of the phone. I'm gonna have to dust off one of my longer USB-C cables so that
maybe it's your phone.
No, it's not. It shouldn't be my phone. My phone has the magnet on the back, so it should be either that side or the other side. Yeah, it's not sticking. Try the clip side. See what happens. No, we'll figure it out. I'm not too worried about it. I got long enough USB cables that it should be able to fit that in a pocket and go from there. So Saturday, 9:30 is when it starts. We'll be going live on YouTube for the Christmas parade. It'll be me and Joe and Hayes Permar, who once again got viral for his marquee.
Oh, what happened?
He just said detain both of these. Very well done, Hayes. Very well done. OGTriangleMediaShop.com is live. The winter pop-up shop closes on December 1st. I cannot stress this enough. It closes 12/1. So that you can get some OG under the tree. What are you laughing at? Get some OG under the tree. We got 2 types of full zip hoodies in 2 different colors. We got the Drunk Wolf on a pullover hoodie in 2 different colors. And of course, we got the beanies that are priced to move at $25. I'm not just saying that to say that. I'm being absolutely serious when I say everything at OGTriangleMediaShop.com is priced to move. We eat the shipping here. So really what it's about,
I didn't know where you were going there.
we eat the shipping. So what it's about is keeping this as low cost as possible. We take a little bit off the top. And more importantly, you get to rep the OG out and about because that's called marketing, baby. It's a marketing expense. So head on over to OGTriangleMediaShop.com. I mentioned the holidays. You're getting your house ready to go. Maybe you're sick and tired of trying to put lights on a very slanted roof. You're like, I need a house that's better for Christmas lights.
Yeah.
So that's a Hometown Realty.
Yeah, I like that.
You got Thanksgiving. You got in-laws that are coming in, and you want to put them on a completely different wing of the house. So that's a Hometown Realty. I want to see my in-laws as little as possible. So put them in a wing of the house. That's what I need. Got you, fam. That is Hometown Realty. So check them out online at myhtr.com. Again, that's myhtr.com. Buy a house, take that thing to close, right? WH.lawyer. Whitaker and Hamer, attorneys and counselors at law. I don't know. Maybe Whitaker and Hamer can help out UNC with all their traffic violations.
They definitely could do that.
As of this recording, turns out that Belichick is supposed to address this today. We're going to talk to Andrew Jones and Charles 24/7 tomorrow. So we'll get a little bit of update on that. But if you got traffic issues, hey, contact our friends at Whitaker and Hamer, WH.lawyer. Speaking of Thanksgiving and Christmas, a couple of our listeners have sent us pictures of their Roback haul. They took advantage of the sale already.
Great call.
20% off. They got the Cousin Eddie quarter zip and the Melakaliki Maka polo. And they are hyped to rock it.
Let's go.
For their office parties, their family gatherings, and everything else. I did get word from Ben that our Christmas parade attire will arrive by Friday.
Ooh.
Apparently, you are getting it. All of it.
My house.
At your house.
Okay.
So I will, I don't know if you want to do a swap later in the day, or I'll see you first thing in the morning on Saturday so I can change into my holiday attire. It's going to be warm on Saturday, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 70.
Oh, boo.
So I guess I'll rock the polo.
Oh, it's going to be cold.
No. I mean, I can ask State of Beer to turn down the thermostat if you want.
Boo.
Anyway, go to Roback.com. Their Black Friday sale is happening right now. Get 20% off site-wide. And of course, our friends at Two Roosters are sitting here talking
there's
about
a chance of rain.
later in the day, not in the morning.
52.
Also, we'll be inside. I'm not too worried about that. TwoRoosters.com. I mean, let them sit in the rain. I'm gonna be inside. We're good. TwoRoosters.com. I believe, is today the day? Hold on.
Yes, today is the
today
day.
is
The 19th.
19th
Yes.
is the day. Okay, I wasn't
Got to get your orders in.
crazy. Today is the day. Get
Yes.
your orders in for the
chocolate chess pie, ice cream pie, pumpkin roll with the cream cheese ice cream.
and any other goodies that you want. So go to TwoRoosters.com. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline to help us make sense of a very bizarre NFL season. It is Brooke Pryor, ESPN. She covers the Steelers, but we talk about all sorts of stuff with Brooke. Brooke, what up?
Oh, not much. I was watching the graphic that said start over, and all I could think was I wish I could start over the UNC football season. But that's not an option because this isn't a video game, and I can't just ditch it halfway through and start fresh. I wish that was a thing.
We weren't going to start there, but you brought it up.
I know. I wanted to talk about the elephant in the room.
I mean, to me, it looks like Bill Belichick's currently unbothered. I'd be unbothered too. I guess this went viral this week. Jennifer, DeekFan73 on Twitter. I guess she was at a cheer competition. Yeah, DeekFan73. She was at a cheer competition at Dorton Arena. And she says, I didn't have 73-year-old Bill Belichick showing up at a cheer competition to watch his 24-year-old girlfriend perform on my 2025 bingo card, But here we are. And honestly, given the way that 2025 has gone, Brooke, why wouldn't you have that on your bingo card? I mean, be a supportive boyfriend.
I would say, honestly, that should be the free space based on how this year has gone. Yeah, that's, we love a supportive partner.
Right. She supports him. She goes to all the games. The least he could do, like bare minimum, is show up to one of her competitions.
And I'm sure that was her argument to him. I would also say we need to know there's a time and a place for all of these things, and perhaps support after getting your butt handed to you in Winston-Salem looks like watching the YouTube video of the performance in the comfort of your own home afterward. Like my parents, for example, they've been married for 30 something years, a long time, actually longer than 30 years. Anyway, they sometimes have to go to two different churches on Sundays because my dad's a retired minister. So sometimes he has to preach and he can't watch my mom sing in the choir. He will watch the Facebook Live video back of the choir anthem so that he can support my mom.
Love it.
Bill and Jordan should take a page out of their book.
Yeah. I mean,
it's worked for the Pryor family.
Speaking of competitions, that's Kelly's had to do that in the past. I've gone like to Bands of America. She wants to watch Enlo's marching band performance, and she'll get the live stream. That makes a lot of sense.
Exactly.
You're breaking down
the live stream.
You're breaking down tape for the Wake Forest loss. You got this big Duke game coming up. You have how many screens do you think he has in his office?
I understand.
Marty's typewriters.
It's a real best of both worlds situation. Old school, new school, just a clash of the eras.
Hey, on the bright side, it was in Raleigh. It was a short ride.
It's a Dorton.
They didn't have to take the medical jet from the university with someone else's divorced mom to Iowa.
I'm glad that they did not contribute to global warming with their carbon emissions.
Bright side. It was in Raleigh.
The small victories.
I was not expecting Tar Heel therapy with Brooke today, but it sounds to me like you needed it, Brooke.
Yeah, but here's the real question. Brooke, here's the real question. If you have this power to go back, do you not go back and not hire the motherfucker to begin with?
Oh, for sure. Oh, that's if we're going, what is it, Minority Report, where we're like trying to solve the problems before they happen. Oh, we're for sure blipping back to there. But in just in the context of start over, you're right. I didn't think big enough off the jump. I was too focused on just the last couple months and being embarrassed. I should have rewound it all the way to a full year.
All right. One more Bill Belichick thing. Again, for the Carolina fans out there who are like, all you ever do is talk about that. Hey, look, just so you know, one of your own brought this up first.
I also want you to know, to show how down bad I am, I'm wearing a Bull City sweatshirt. The week of Carolina Duke football. That's how much I'm not owning. I also love Durham and lived in Durham for many years. So this is a Durham Bulls sweatshirt. But yeah, Carolina Duke football weekend, I'm wearing a Bull City sweatshirt.
So I want to transition to the NFL. I actually want to go back to last week with it's one thing to talk about Bill Belichick and the Giants when the Giants job got open. And that's something that Joe and I will do. That's just like scuttlebutt that you'll throw out there on podcast, sports talk radio, a little bit of social media. But I never really saw any sort of legitimate traction on the idea of Bill Belichick to the Giants. So it was odd to me that going into the Wake Forest game that they put out this statement that I'm committed to UNC and all this other stuff. We're on to Wake Forest. And
I did like that part of
it. That was clever.
Nice touch.
And then Diana Rossini comes out at The Athletic saying, yeah, that's cute, but this was never a thing. There's been no communication. So as this has all kind of been put to the side, I guess to double down on this and based on who you talk to and what the actual rumor mill is around NFL reporters, there is no traction with Bill Belichick in NFL jobs right now, right?
No, why would there be? What has he done since he mutually parted ways with the Patriots that would suggest to you that he can coach in the modern NFL?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. I joked to Teddy after he set out that statement that I was going to quote tweet it and say, and I have removed my candidacy from the Miss Universe pageant. And he said, wow, do you really want that much hate on your Twitter? And I was like, really feels like you're telling me I'm not as hot as Miss Universe.
No,
so
Brooke,
I really,
Brooke, you know what? You set Teddy up for a trap. I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
did. I was hurt. I was feeling hurt.
That was a trap.
I did. I lash, when you're hurt, you hurt people. But no, it was comical that he felt the need to put that statement out there, because to your point, there was no credible reporting suggesting that he was a candidate for this job. To me, this reeks of, and it goes back to the cheerleader conversation. This was I don't know this for fact, but to me, it read like this was a Jordan Hudson suggestion. Like, hey, this is starting to take traction on social media. Let's get out ahead of it. And it's like, girl, no, that no one who is actually matters in terms of like insider reporting is suggesting that this is a thing. This is not a narrative that you need to squash. If anything, now you've added fuel to the fire in a bad way. Like, now you've just become a laughingstock. And I don't just blame this. I'm not just trying to take a cheap shot at Jordan Hudson here. It's more like looking at the track record and what we know of her role with Bill Belichick as his PR professional spokesperson, controlling the narratives or trying to control like the CBS interview. I've talked with people who behind the scenes on like the Pat McAfee show, other shows that he's been on, she is right there next to him constantly. So this feels like someone who fancies themselves to be a PR person stepping in and saying, this is how we should handle this PR situation, without having any real training. Like, if I had to guess, no one in the UNC athletics department is telling him to put out this statement. Like, no one is saying, hey, we should address this. Because I look at it like, with Read the Giants head opening, Ian O'Connor, incredibly respected journalist, has a lot of connections. He wrote a column for The Athletic saying that the Giants should seriously look at trading for Mike Tomlin. That is a valid take. It is an opinion. No one with the Steelers said, you know what, we should make a statement that Mike Tomlin doesn't have a trade clause in his contract and shut this down. Like, there should be more juice behind that column than there was on the scuttlebutt with Belichick. And yet the real professionals here know, like, we're not going to address it. Why would we give this opinion any credence? Because it's not actual reporting. And even if it was, you just pretend like it's not happening. That's how you really get people to move on. And again, what has Bill Belichick done to suggest that he can handle running an NFL team? I mean, that there were concerns back when he interviewed for like the Falcons that he was going to try to bring in people like Michael Lombardi and completely take over this organization. The Falcons didn't trust it then. Why would the Giants trust it now? There's been no like evidence of, oh, look, his method works. So yeah, that was a disaster class in how to not handle something.
It's funny you bring up Ian O'Connor and Tomlin, because obviously the connection between the Rooneys and the Maras, there's there's marriages and everything else, and true family. It does feel like it does feel like the answer to the problem that is simmering for the Steelers, in that they're not going to fire Mike Tomlin. We all understand that, but it's probably pretty clear now that they need to move on from Mike Tomlin, isn't it? Like, at what point do you think the Rooneys will arrive at that conclusion?
They will arrive at that conclusion the same time that Mike Tomlin arrives at that conclusion, because he has built up so much history and credibility with the Rooney family, with Art Rooney II, that I don't think at any point Art Rooney will come to him and say, Mike, thank you for your services, but enough is enough. I think that there is too much respect for Tomlin from Art Rooney to pull the plug on Mike Tomlin. And also, there's the money factor of it all. He still has 2 seasons left on that extension. It runs through the 2027 season. Art Rooney does not pay people not to work unless your name is Matt Canada, and then he made an exception. No,
I'm not suggesting they fire him. I'm saying it does feel like an opening that, look, Mike Tomlin is a really, really good coach. He doesn't need me explaining to the world that he's a good coach. But sometimes you need to be in a different franchise, a different city, where your message can be now heard by different people. they're at 6. The Steelers are 6-4 right now, and they by all rights they should win this division, given the collapse of everyone around them, right? And something tells me they're not going to win this division. Something tells me they will win 3 more games to get to the magic number of 9. But at some point, as the Steelers, and you're sitting here with all of your history and all of your Super Bowls, and not a playoff win since when?
2016. We're coming up on a decade.
Yeah, like at some point you have to say we can no longer win the Super Bowl how we are currently constructed. We've tried different ways, different quarterbacks, different, investing in our defense, trying this, we've tried that, we've tried Matt Canada, we've tried it all, right? At some point you have to say, what is our way out? Because we're not going to just like fire Mike Tomlin. You have an asset. It's actually a pretty...
No, it makes sense, but it requires Mike Tomlin having the humility to say it's not working for me here anymore. And to this point, he has not shown any signs of that, because he'll go a week where they win, they beat the Colts, everything's great.
Sure.
And then the next week they collapse against the Chargers, and there is a defensiveness, which I get. You've been coaching, you've been doing it at a high level for a long time, but there is this lack of a willingness to change and to admit when something isn't working. I will say they have made changes with shifting Jalen Ramsey back to safety. They've changed up their defensive structure a little bit, and that at some point has worked. But I don't know that you're going to get him to admit that. I don't know if he would feel like it's giving up. And I get that. I mean, it's a tough thing to wrestle with feeling like, is it a recognition that I should go somewhere else, that I'm still really talented? Or is it I'm giving up on trying to win a Super Bowl here, another Super Bowl here? I get that. It's a tough thing to wrestle with. And I also think that I don't know that this will be the season that he comes to that determination, even though there is this, you're right, there is a great opportunity for him to go to New York, a situation where Mike Tomlin is a control freak, the same way that Bill Belichick is, and Belichick surrounds himself with people that don't necessarily elevate a program or an organization.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin wants that same level of control. The Giants have no structure. Like, they are a disaster top to bottom.
Talking about a franchise that needs
right. Like that franchise could use Mike Tomlin coming in and putting his identity and his imprint on the organization. I also wonder, though, can that happen if Joe Shane is still the GM? Like, I don't know that Mike Tomlin's ready for an arranged marriage there. So but also this Steelers team was never going to win a Super Bowl, right? And I think that they acknowledged as much when they didn't trade for a wide receiver at the deadline. Instead, they held on to all their draft capital, knowing that the draft is in Pittsburgh in April. This is an opportunity to draft a franchise quarterback. Although we also have to be honest, this quarterback class does not look great.
What about this quarterback class makes you go, yeah, we got the franchise guy?
Not a whole lot. Lenore Sellers, come on down. But they're in a tough position, because also, by the way, if they did draft a franchise quarterback, would it not make sense to bring in a new head coach with that franchise quarterback and just start fresh altogether? But like, that's not going to happen. They
need
right.
Carolina basketball.
Yeah, they're
reset.
Yeah, they do, but
and they got one.
It's
Carolina basketball.
Carolina basketball.
Oh yeah, but Caleb Wilson's not walking across that stage.
Right.
I wish he was. It would make my life a lot easier. It's
Arch Manning somehow falls to the Steelers,
and also magically becomes Peyton and Eli combined.
Well, I'm convinced that there's a Sarkisian problem here. And the more and more this goes on, the more I'm convinced that Steve Sarkisian might be not that guy. But that's another conversation altogether. We got about 5 more minutes with you. I wanted to go by, since we're approaching Christmas, I want to go through Brooke's coverage of past. So let's take the Kansas City Chiefs first. Have they lost the benefit of the doubt in Kansas City? Has Patrick Mahomes lost the benefit of the doubt as they're 5-5, a worse record than the Carolina Panthers?
Whew, wow, when you put it that way. Golly. No, because they are such a weird team, right? Because to me, they still look like a playoff team. They look better than a lot of the team. maybe all the teams in the AFC North, except when Lamar Jackson and the Ravens like decide to be a juggernaut.
Yeah.
But the results say that they're not a playoff team. I still think that they've got it and they've got the juice. But I do think that like the weird Chiefs magic aura, whatever you want to call it, like it's football justice. They won however many one-score games.
Mhm.
So this is just the pendulum swinging back the other way.
Mhm.
I still, if they're in the playoffs, I'm still picking them against the field of at least on the AFC side. But they have to get there. And to me, they don't lose the benefit of the doubt until they lose in the playoffs, because
Okay.
I have seen this story. Granted, it has not been this dire, but like ever since I've covered them, starting with Patrick Mahomes' first season as a starter in 2018, they have figured it out. Like teams think they figure them out for a little bit, and then you start not paying attention to the Chiefs, and all of a sudden they're like on a run and they're tearing through things. It's a little bit different this year, but until they either don't make the playoffs or lose in the playoffs, I'm not counting them out.
They're going to be road favorites 3 times in a row when they get to the playoffs. So that's going to be kind of amusing. And before the Kansas City Chiefs, when's the last time you talked to Baker Mayfield?
I actually caught up with him earlier this year because the Bucks had a joint practice in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So caught up with him. I'm always going to root for a guy that is entertaining to cover.
And he always has been.
And he always has been. He's always been good to me. But man, he looked like an MVP candidate the first half of the year.
Yeah.
And I think he's playing hurt. I think he's a little banged up. I also think that at some point you subtract so many pieces from that offense, like Baker can't do it by himself. And there's just so many moving parts. I think that this is just like kind of a little bit of a regression to the mean. Like at some point you knew that other shoe was going to drop. I don't think it means that he's not a good quarterback, but I think it means that like that Bucs team has dealt with a lot of injuries to their O-line, to their skill position players. He's another first-year OC. Like, talk about a guy that has beaten the odds at every level, although now I sound like Josina Anderson and Shedeur Sanders against all odds, 3rd and 10 completion.
I wasn't going to the Shedeur Sanders fascination, other than the fact that his last name is Sanders.
Well, that is the only fact. But
I am confounded by the level of attention and conspiracy theories that have gone Shedeur Sanders' way. He's a 5th round quarterback.
Correct.
Come on.
Correct. But Ree Baker, when you look at where he is from where he started as a walk-on at multiple programs, he's had a new play caller how many years in a row, and had a complete turnover of skill position players, of injuries, of everything else. For this Bucs team to still be where they are, granted, they've lost a lot more than they've won recently, but like I wish that we could see him in a system where he's set up for success, although maybe then he doesn't have success. It's like he needs to have the odds stacked against him to be effective. But that stack of odds is getting a little bit taller. It's like now a Jenga tower, and they just keep, pulling out pieces, and it's all going to fall over if it hasn't already.
Drake May, your MVP?
Yeah. Honestly,
strip the Carolina aspect out of it.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at his stats, nobody is playing better than Drake May.
Yeah.
At this point in the season.
Joe's making a face. Joe's making a face.
You want to know what's crazy though? I saw Drake May play in person, Steelers Patriots, when the Steelers won. I still don't know how that happened.
Right.
5 turnovers is how that happened.
Sure.
In the press box, I vividly remember some of the Patriots media members sitting in front of me calling him Shaky Drakey after an interception or a fumble or something. Like I heard Shaky Drakey multiple times, and I thought, oh man, this sucks. Like that is a catchy nickname. That really sucks that it is so catchy, and like that is his reputation at this point. Since then, he has not been Shaky Drakey. He is playing so much better than I thought he would. He has made that jump that you hope to see out of a quarterback. I think Mike Vrabel, I'm not going to go as far to say that this is a Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid marriage, because that's not the kind of coach that Mike Vrabel is. And he's not the offensive play caller. That's Josh McDaniels. And I don't think that Josh McDaniels and Drake May have an Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes relationship.
Okay.
But so much of this is about to get young quarterbacks to succeed, it's about finding the right pairing in a play caller and a head coach. And it doesn't just have to work X's and O's. I think it has to work personality wise. And to me, it works because Drake is honestly so boring and just kind of like steady Eddie, and Vrabel is just crazy and like a really energetic guy. I think their energy complements each other. And I think that like they've kind of got that lightning in a bottle situation. And by the way, Stephon Diggs is playing way better, I think, than anyone thought he would. And that is also helping Drake May. But like unfortunately, for Steelers fans that are listening and hate the Patriots are back. Thanks to Drake May.
It was a very tough 5 years for New England fans. Very,
you know what?
Very tough 5 years.
Steelers fans should be looking at the Patriots and saying, this is what we want. Like, but you have to recognize you need to bottom out. You need to have Mac Jones years and Jacoby Brissett years and a weird Cam Newton interlude and get a high draft pick. And then eventually you can come back. But when you exist in this mediocrity, you're never going to get the Drake May. Then it's a cycle of mediocrity.
So Mike Tomlin to Chapel Hill, is that what you're telling me? You heard it here first. Brooke Pryor, ESPN, Mike Tomlin, next coach at North Carolina. Aggregate it, clip it. I'm the one who does this. Clip it, we'll push it. Brooke Pryor, ESPN, Mike Tomlin to UNC. Cool.
If I'm just silent, then you can't clip me.
It's a good point. That's a good point. Looking forward to you working at Tar Heel 24/7 next year. All right. We will talk to you later.
He would hate that. That would not go well for any of us.
Bye, Brooke.
See you guys.
Big thanks to our friends at Happy and Hail. You can check them out with the app. Download the app today. Use that promo code OG25. You'll get 25% off your first order.
Let's take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hail.
So I got the banana bread blaster, the smoothie. I originally got it for Jacob because he's like Mr. Protein. And this thing is, my understanding is that Happy and Hill with the banana bread smoothie, this is like their first smoothie that has all the protein already packed. You don't have to get any extras added on, like any sort of protein booster or anything like that. It's just packed with it, right? And I thought my little protein bro would be all about it. He forgot about it.
Oh, man.
So I had to have it for breakfast. Darn. Feel good, though. You can get a smoothie on the app and save 25% off your first order with our promo code OG25. Big thanks to our guy, Matt Davis, over at State Farm. Check him out online at insuregarner.com. Call him directly at 919-779-8277. We are entering the holiday season. You're thinking about Christmas gifts, all that kind of fun stuff. You're going, man, I really need to like find ways to save money and all that kind of stuff. Well, when was the last time you thought about your home and auto? How much money are you leaving on the table by not saving money with our guy, Matt Davis?
Be smart.
Be smart. And also, speaking of smart, financial planning would also help too.
Yeah.
Something that Matt Davis can handle. So check him out online at insuregarner.com or call him directly at 919-779-8277. Big thanks to Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. You can check them out online at bugsbite.com. Pay as you go. No contracts. I got the quarterly pest treatments from Pest Authority. I got my mosquito treatments from Mosquito Authority. You can start thinking about next year. They can do
termites.
They go beyond.
You need a termite inspection.
There's that too. You can go beyond just the normal monthly treatments for mosquitoes. You can get misters, all that kind of stuff. Moisture barriers, one-stop shop. It all happens at bugsbite.com. And of course, our friends at Color Graphic. Check them out by emailing them. Do you have
I failed you.
Do you have a car wrap?
Maybe I should get a sandwich sign. All right, I'm checking with Glenn today.
He can cook it up real quick.
Okay,
I'll talk about putting a sandwich sign outside.
We need
the new.
Yeah, I just want to put a something new into the sandwich board.
Okay,
for the parade.
That's fine.
Okay.
I can do that for you.
Okay.
All you got to do is hit them up at sales@colorgraphic.com. Again, that's sales@colorgraphic.com. You need marketing material. You need a new flag for outside your store, but sandwich boards, banners, you name it, they got it. It all starts with an email, though. Check them out. Sales@colorgraphic.com. Lost in the college football playoff discussion, we didn't talk about Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss, LSU, Florida. So yesterday, Lane Kiffin went on the Pat McAfee show, and he pushed back on reports that he was given an ultimatum this week to decide what he's going to be doing. This is on top of reports that the Kiffin family was around Gainesville or around LSU. And because LSU's entered the chat, obviously, after firing Brian Kelly. So here's Lane Kiffin with Pat McAfee putting this to rest ahead of the Egg Bowl.
There's a lot of distractions that come with having success. You talked about the past 3 years being an absolute juggernaut down there in the SEC for Ole Miss. All the success you've had in the past, your name is a topic of discussion everywhere, seemingly, and will be for the rest of your life. It's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing, because it means that you're having success, which is why other people are certainly going to mention your name whenever jobs open up. But there's a rumor now circulating on the internet, and we appreciate you joining us here to maybe kind of clarify this. Was there like an ultimatum given to you in the middle of a season from Ole Miss? It feels like the way I'm reading it on the internet is that Ole Miss has told you, and you were doing yoga, I guess, this morning with the AD. Ole Miss has told you, like, we need an answer. Is that true? And how are you handling it all with the team with what's currently taking place?
Yeah, that's absolutely not true. There's been no ultimatum, anything like that at all. And so I don't know where that came from, like a lot of stuff that comes out there. Like I said, man, we're having a blast. I love it here. I mean, our running back's sitting right over here. Come on over. And it just couldn't be better. Like I say, you pray for things. Our fans prayed for this type of thing, and now we're in the middle of it. So enjoy it. You're 10-1, you're getting ready, you got a bye week, you get to watch half the country lose, and there's no way we can lose Saturday. And then you play the Egg Bowl and go dominate that and keep that Egg Bowl trophy home where it's been for a long time.
So that's Lane Kiffin with Pat McAfee trying to put that to rest. This is important. Egg Bowl context is important because we're not too far removed from the first time Lane Kiffin was attached to the Florida job. Remember, Billy Napier was not exactly in a great spot. I think it was 2022, if I'm not mistaken. And they went and laid an egg in the Egg Bowl subsequently after that. What ended up being, I think they started off 8-1. I think they ended up 8-5 when it was all said and done.
Yeah, 22.
Yeah, it was 22. So Lane already has experience with this whole business and all the distractions that go along with it, sinking his season when they actually have a legitimate opportunity to make the college football playoff this year. You throw on top of that the LSU thing, and then there's the other dynamic of what's going on at Ole Miss. And here's why I think this story is pretty fascinating. That Lane Kiffin has done a really good job rebranding himself. I mean, this year it culminated with a E60 piece that our friend Ryan McGee spearheaded because of his friendship with Lane Kiffin to show you this football life of his and how he's kind of been reborn at Ole Miss. But there's one thing that Lane apparently cannot change, and that is just the drama that goes on behind the scenes. He can do the yoga. He can bring his running back out there. He can say all these things. But at the end of the day, Lane still entertains and invites the circus, which is why he's perfect for the SEC. But this is all set up to ask a question. If we all recognize that college football is completely different now, and that you've got a school at LSU that you don't even know what their leadership structure is going to look like. And you have Florida that routinely fires their coaches like every 4 to 5 years at this rate that they're going now. And Ole Miss is operating in a modern football landscape with money. Why would you flirt with going to Florida other than to fulfill something that might not ultimately be satisfying? Or why would you enter into the political dome that is LSU? See what I'm getting at?
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways, post-house, it's kind of like college basketball in that there were a lot of guys. Why would I leave my spot? I get a lot of money. Everybody's in alignment. I can make the NCAA tournament, and I can have a crack at this thing. And with the expansion of the college football playoff, again, they've got their self-imposed deadline on December 1st to figure out what they want to do going forward. But they're going to expand it to 16. That's what the SEC wants. Why would you put yourself in that position, especially with Ole Miss being in complete alignment with what Lane Kiffin's trying to do, and they have the money to do it as well? Why would you go?
I think sometimes there's a fear of the unknown.
Okay.
Ole Miss has never won a national championship.
They haven't won anything since the 60s.
Okay. So if it hasn't been done before, you don't know that it can be done.
Fair.
You have to be the one who proves it can be done.
Sure.
At LSU, with fair certainty, if you take that job, you're gonna play for the national championship in the first 3 years of your job if you're doing it the right way.
Fair.
Florida, I could be less inclined to take the Florida job over the Ole Miss job, but I think
I wouldn't take the Florida job.
In his position, you at least have to listen to what LSU has to say. I think you have to at least listen to what they say.
Fair. You see where Mulkey was annoyed that like nobody showed up for a post game.
Oh,
because they were all on the Lane Kiffin track.
I mean, so for me, what I'm going to blame here is the college football calendar.
Yeah, there's something to that.
I lamented yesterday that Florida State should have fired Mike Norvell because it would have given Mike Norvell a head start and getting a job to improve your odds of that offset language kicking in on his contract.
Yeah.
Like, if you're LSU in Florida, you can't wait for Lane Kiffin to be done with this college football playoff. I mean, that's just kind of the truth and matter of where the schedule is right now.
Do you see where Bobby Petrino wants to like have legislation or something like that prevents schools from firing coaches midseason?
But what about him quitting and leaving?
Details.
For the NFL.
Details.
Giglio's social crap.
We have a little bit of polish. I
like that,
including our little Ovies and Giglio stinger that you hear at the beginning of the audio podcast. That was done by our friends at Auditory Effects. They were here for the Sports Podcast Festival as well. We keep things a little ramshackle here, but as Joe likes to remind me, sometimes they need a little bit of polish. And you're probably wondering, polish sounds expensive. Not necessarily. If you want to elevate your podcast game, you got events that need audio visual polish. Give yourself, as they say in the business, a sonic brand.
Ooh.
Well, Auditory Effects can help out with that. So Auditory Effects sonic branding libraries are affordable, accessible, and you can buy royalty-free high-res audio files delivered to you in seconds. And libraries start at just $19. That's what you get for some sound packs. So check out Auditory Effects. Just check them out on Google, and you'll be good to go. Speaking of social media, shout out to Red Panda once again, driving the people insane. I'm not going to play the audio because the audio is useless and it'll get me flagged on YouTube anyway. But we're watching the halftime between Duke and Kansas.
And see a drop ball.
Red Panda. Well, look, Red Panda had an injury. She's trying to overcome said injury.
Yeah.
So obviously they're trying to talk about this game, but Jay Williams and Reese Davis, and Seth, they're all out there, and they have to respect the GOAT, Red Panda. We got to respect the GOAT. Stop talking about this game. Let's all enjoy Red Panda in the Bulls. I'm surprised she didn't have does she have rehab stints? Was she working lower level before she went to Madison Square Garden for the Champions Classic? I don't know.
She was on a couple of ACC stops last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just know she had a devastating injury.
I was going to say, I'm not trying to knock the hustle, but yeah, there was a time where there was no droppage. There was no slippage.
I mean, everybody, it's like LeBron. LeBron came back last night over his sciatica, had a double-double. The fact that LeBron James has sciatica. Now, here's the part that I love the most. I don't know who this is on Kansas' staff. Zoom and enhance here. Okay? See that dude?
He's all in.
It doesn't matter who you are. Fan, coach, assistant, doesn't matter. You are absolutely going to stop what you're doing to video Red Panda. I have been in that situation. Here's something else that came across my timeline. Actually, this was sent to us by a listener. And honestly, guys, I know I do the Colin Cowherd bit. Reminds me a lot of Apple. But there's a reason why Colin Cowherd is the best to do it. He's the best to do it. And he dropped a banger on Big Noon Kickoff this past weekend that I missed. And the setup here is that Colin believes the West Coast made the Big Ten better. Are you ready for this?
I am.
10 was always the tough, physical, cold weather conference. Point of attack, superior to the West Coast teams. But the West Coast has always been the creative coast. From Silicon Valley, the first laser, the first computer, all of our iPhones, California-based. 13 starting NFL quarterbacks, West Coast. 9 from California. Most accurate quarterback in the country this year, Julian Sand. Carlsbad, California. Mendoza, transferred from California, though he's from Miami. The West Coast has always been more of a finesse conference, but the creative part of our country. Yeah. So what the Big Ten lacked, they had all the toughness and the Michigan and the Ohio State and the physicality. California, the West Coast brought quarterbacks, passing, the GOAT, Tom Brady, California, Aaron Rodgers, California, Andrew Luck, California, John Elway, California. So when you have this mesh of the creative of California and the West with the toughness of the Midwest, we didn't talk about the Big Ten being better than the SEC 4 years ago. Now it's legitimate because of the mesh.
God damn, man. I can't. Even in my best day, I can't.
I feel like you do, though, with it reminds me of Apple.
No, but like I never would have thought, because me, low res thinking, well, money.
Sure.
That's why. The reason why the Big Ten is competing with the SEC and what's driving Nick Saban insane is money. They've always had money. Now they can use the money. But no, see, that's low res thinking. High res thinking is our guy, Colin Cowherd, saying, no, the creatives. Where did the iPhone come from? iPhone wasn't made in Lansing. No, sir. It was from California. Incredible, man. Incredible. All right, let's go to y'all still sending us the stream bet ideas for the birthday party, I guess.
Ooh.
In May. It's 3 a.m. and instead of sleeping, I'm betting on German tree chucking. I feel like this is something we could do after Christmas, honestly. I know you love to set a Christmas tree on fire, but I know our guy, Adam Eschbaugh, when he was working at a brewery and he had to come up with events for the holidays to get people to come out, buy beer, just generally have a good time. He did this. I actually took part in a tree chucking competition. I threw my back out. Joe, you could not participate in this.
No.
You could light a tree on fire.
I wonder what the rules are, too, because I would definitely do it like the hammer throw. I wouldn't just...
So it's interesting. In this particular case, he's clearly mad at himself for how he chucked it. So he's doing the underhanded toss here.
Right.
Okay. When I did this at Mason Jar years ago, I picked it up javelin style. So I got the bottom, held it, and then used the force of, like, it was more of a shot put style, not javelin. It was more shot put.
Why not use your momentum?
I don't know. Do we want to do this after Christmas?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Put it on the list.
Put it on the list. Something we could try. Bring your Christmas tree and chuck it. Maybe you'll get some OG light out of it. 3 a.m. And instead of sleeping, I'm betting on Japanese blindfolded find the chair. So we could easily do this at Shady's. We could do this at Shady's, no problem. So, all right. So it looks like the host has put the chair down. He makes a big noise. He slammed it. Okay.
Oh, dude, come on.
Okay. So the way this works is the guy puts the chair, he slams the chair down to make the noise so that the contestant who's blindfolded can get an audio cue as to where this chair might be. And then he's timed clear to see how fast he could get to the chair, except that he books it so quickly to the chair that he stumbles over it and he falls. Good stuff. And lastly, this is worth getting flagged on YouTube. A few of you have sent this to us. I'd love to see this. This is the Doobie Brothers doing an NPR Tiny Desk concert.
I will raise you in this building. You don't know my kind in your world. Well, there's time to you telling me things you're gonna do for me. Yeah, I ain't blind. Don't like what I think I see.
Do you know how old Michael McDonald is?
I do not.
You imagine him going to a cheer competition for his 24-year-old
Oh,
girlfriend?
is he 73? Is he 73?
Poor Mike McDonald lost a little bit on the fastball.
He's hold on,
and that's okay.
Hold on,
Just throw a little change.
I mean, come on, man. How many years of singing has he put together?
But I'm saying he could still get outs with his changeup and his slider.
It's
fine. He's lost a little bit on the fastball. That's okay.
It's just a smidge. It's a smidge. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We're getting close to the end of the year. Next thing you know is getting everything at your small business or a two-person LLC like me and Giglio, getting all your tax documents ready to go. Not to do your taxes, but you got to corral everything.
Mm-hmm.
Close the books. Let's go. Let's get things prepared. You know who could do that for you? Who can handle that with expertise? Chris Brassfield. Brassfield Accounting. Check them out online at brassfieldaccounting.com. Based in Homer, Alaska. However, they have an RTP office. If you're like Giglio, and you're like, just bring all the paperwork and you just bring all the stuff there, they'll help you out. Joe still struggles with the cloud from time to time. Can you scan this for me? Just bring it to Brassfield Accounting. So check them out online at brassfieldaccounting.com. Again, a fractional CFO. And it goes beyond just getting your stuff ready to go for tax season. We're talking HR solutions, all that kind of stuff. That is what a fractional CFO does. So check them out online at brassfieldaccounting.com. Big thanks to the Butcher's Market. You can check them out online at thebutchersmarkets.com. I have a Friendsgiving to attend on Friday. I'm going to unlock the cheat code, and that is to get the ham biscuits. We'll bring 2 trays of ham biscuits to this Friendsgiving. So we've been talking about catering and whatnot. And yes, use the Butcher's Market to cater because you want to tell your employees, we actually do care about you. So that's how you do it. However, you just need something to grab and bring to a potluck. Hey, man. They don't have to know that it came from the Butcher's Market. That's a secret between you and us. Okay? You can take the little ham biscuits out of the tray and present them however you want to present them. And they go, yeah, I made these this week. They don't need to know that they came from the Butcher's Market and be a winner. So go to thebutchersmarkets.com. Again, that's thebutchersmarkets.com. And of course, our guy, Gordon Miller, Miller Lending. Check them out online at millerlending.com. Or call them directly at 919-447-3377. You're looking at a big project in 2026. You're going to use the equity in your home. But you also are worried about the ups and downs and the fluctuations of the economy and how it relates to your interest rates. Talk to the experts. See if it's the right time to refinance now or in the future. And most importantly, not pay closing costs so that when you do refinance, you're not feeling locked in to some mythical lower rate that you paid for, even though that goes up and down all the time. Never pay closing costs, save money every single time, and honestly, get the advice that you need with our friends at Miller Lending. Check them out online at millerlending.com or call them directly at 919-447-3377. You take that thing to close, you're going to get a Butcher's Market gift basket and maybe even a game-worn Rowback jersey from Joe Giglio. Maybe.
You get your own new one.
Hey, Black Friday sales going on right now. So again, check them out, 919-447-3377. And of course, tell them we sent you. All right, let's get out of here with some Hey Joe. Let's go back to the OG Sports phone.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
Of course, the OG Sports Zone is brought to you by our friends at Nature's Relief. Check them out online at naturesreliefhempstore.com. That's RELEAF hempstore.com. With the holidays approaching and dealing with your family, you might need take a little nibble, take the edge off while dealing with your family. It's a stressful time of the year. I understand. Let's go to a 919.
Joe's, what's up? Hey, watched the Carolina and Navy game last night, and before everybody goes all crazy, overreaction, we should have beat that team by 50 or whatever it is. Yeah, I know in the land of NIL, and all the expectations that come with great, players and all of that. I just feel like I was watching that game realizing that no matter what, these guys are still college athletes. They're still college players, and their mentality isn't always there, and their focus isn't always there. Caleb Wilson, of course, was his normal Caleb Wilson self, still trying to figure out some foul trouble as a young college athlete. But ultimately, I think the problems that Carolina had with Navy are still early season problems that college teams will have. And I know there's going to be a ton of overreaction. I just thought I'd bring a little bit of calm to the water. Still a win, still good, figuring some things out with Seth Trimble, still injured. And I think these are the types of games that will make the Tar Heels better come February and March. Thanks, guys.
I like that very level-headed approach to what we saw last night.
Entirely too logical.
Do you understand the assignment? Let's go to another one. 704.
Hey guys, it's Paul. UNC Navy. Hubert. I got some yellow flags. Some yellow flags. Not the same yellow flags as last year, but a few. If Caleb Wilson's in foul trouble like he was in the first half, somebody has to step up. Especially with Seth Trimble out until Christmas. I mean, he'll be back for ACC play, which is good, but we still got Michigan State, we got Kentucky, Georgetown's been pretty good. Like, there's a lot of good teams still sitting on the schedule, and you can't play like that when Caleb Wilson's not in the game. That's not good. I didn't like what I saw from the guards tonight. Kyan Evans and Bogovac just way too loose with the ball. They turnovers galore, and there's a difference between aggressive turnovers where you're trying to do something and you turn it over, but there were so many lazy passes, and Navy was just outworking UNC. And I know Navy, those dudes are on a whole different work rate than most athletes, but you can't get outworked like that, especially on your own home court. And to be up 20 and then let them get back into the game by essentially just giving them opportunities, that's not good. The one good thing from the end of the game, apparently the players held a players-only meeting after a win, and the team is 5-0. And let me tell you, the team last year would have not held a players-only meeting after this sort of game. So I like that. Probably just a blip. Not going to worry about it too much, but hey, correct those yellow flags.
Hey, look, Paul's getting to something that I said at the beginning of today's podcast about that players-only meeting. The only takeaway that I'm going to have about that is they called it, and it shows you a difference between this group and previous groups and what they understand this is about. And also you got leaders like Seth Trimble or Caleb Wilson trying to take over that leadership role or be part of that culture change. I think that's a good sign. Let's go to a 252.
Hey guys, this will be a quick one, and I'm going to try to keep it from allowing Dave Doran to catch inadvertent strays in this one. But I just want
that's now an effort. It's an effort.
Even by saying I'm trying to make sure that Dave Doran doesn't catch a stray is in fact Dave Doran catching a stray.
Could be argued.
All right, let's continue.
to understand this right. NC State and Virginia are going to be playing in Brazil next year. It'll be the first college football game ever played in Brazil. And that's the intro to college football that we're giving them. I mean, I'm a State fan and an ACC fan. But I just don't know that that's the best thing for college football, for us to be introducing them to the game of college football with NC State and Virginia. I don't know. But love to hear you guys' thoughts. Have a good one.
Never forget the NFL sends the Jaguars over to London more than any team and anyone else. So They clearly don't care.
No.
They just want to give him anything.
Yeah.
Any old slop.
Here's some football.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. All right, to a 252.
I can't think of a worse situation than a Dave Dorn-led team in a standalone spot in Brazil in week 0. Dave can't win against Power 4 teams before conference games start. He can't win against Power 4 teams in a bowl game. What do you think he's going to do week 0 when the sports fans are going to be itching for football and he walks out there in Rio de Janeiro? Jeez, guys. So you can say no.
The reaction to this.
I think you're missing a very important point, though.
What's that?
Dave's 4-0 against Virginia. This is the perfect opponent.
I think you're missing the point. Nobody wants him to be coaching in Rio.
Oh, fair.
That's the point. That is the point. All right. One more from Matthew Gville Tar Heel on Twitter. He tagged you and me on this. I got a notification. I was like, okay, what is this about? Because this usually ties into what I say about some of our listeners. They'll just tag us on stuff in an effort to like, hey, just in case you missed this.
Yeah.
And in this particular case, Matthew, I appreciate it. This is not like non sequitur. I have no context. He goes, 1, respect the game. She's on a heater after on to wake. I went, oh, okay. This is clearly about Jordan Hudson. Okay, got it. 2, I don't need this. You don't talk shit to Michael Jordan and you don't give Pablo another reason to start digging. I'm going, oh God, no. No, please tell me there's not another Pablo Torre, Jordan Hudson thing. So I scroll up from the this and I go, okay. Pablo Torre Finds Out has been named one of the best shows and best episodes of 2025 by Apple Podcast. Couldn't do it with all you sickos. And I'm like, okay, well, which one is it? Which one are we talking about here? Is there actual sound related to this or not? I guess there is no sound related to this. It's fine. It looks like it's just a GIF. I'm assuming that they're talking about the Jordan Hudson stuff. Maybe. I have no idea. And of course, Jordan Hudson, Jordan Bella on Twitter 2 hours ago. You're welcome. Make it stop, y'all. Make it stop. Oh, she did well in the competition, by the way.
Good.
I hope she did well. I have no idea. And for anybody out there like adult competitive cheer, let me explain something to y'all. I went to Dayton, Ohio earlier this year for something called WGI, the sport of the arts, Joe.
Ooh.
And I saw adult indoor percussion groups, drum corps. They crushed it, by the way. And they had groupies. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They had groupies. So don't make fun of this. You're just mad you don't have groupies.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see y'all tomorrow for an OG Live. Thanks to the Butcher's Market.